Hi everyone, it's Darlene from Scrappin', Stampin' and Inkin' by Dordee. And today I want to share with you my recipe folio that I had made after watching a tutorial by Tamra of Country Craft Creations and Ginger, my sister scrapper. I was so inspired by this tutorial. It was called Saucy Folio, and it is a recipe album. In making it, I did add my own changes to it and added a couple of my own little things, but that's okay. But the tutorial really did inspire me. And the album itself is 7 1/4 by 8 7/8 and has a spine of 1.5 inches. The paper collection that I used for this folio was French Country, designer paper by Graphic 45, and it truly is one of my special papers that I really like, and I'm glad they came back with it. Let's get started with the front of the album here. For the front of my album, I covered it with burlap. I took the chicken from, or the rooster, I'm sorry, and fussy cut him and layered him on black cardstock. And at the bottom, I put store-bought moss. I fussy cut some of the sunflowers. I used one of the borders from one of the pages, stuck a cutout here that I had layered on the cream and the brown cardstock. I added a ruffled cream colored embroidered lace on the side with cream colored flatback pearls. I also added a twine bow that I had made with the flowers that I had, flowers and leaves that I had in my stash that I thought looked like sunflowers. So there is quite a bit of dimension to the front cover. The spine, I just layered it with some of the embellishment papers. And on the back, I have a rooster paper that I put on and one of the cutouts that I had layered on the brown, the cream, and the brown again. So let's open this up and take a walk through. I truly love the way the front cover came out. On the first page here, I just took one of the cutouts and layered it. So you could do some journaling here and or place photos. On the back of that, I have 2 pockets and I used a border punch on. I matted my photo tags. This you could journal on if you like and put a photo on the back, and vice versa. You may journal on the backs and put photos on the front. 2 little cutouts here that I have. A piece of that border, again, I have going across the bottom pocket. Next, I have a flip out page, and I put one of the little cutouts on here. Everything is pretty much triple matted, and just kind of stuck it at the bottom so that this journaling card can be placed right there. A photo can be placed here. Here you'll find another pocket with that beautiful rooster paper. And again, 2 photo mats or a journaling tag. Then on the next page, I had this cutout that I matted and put on here. This to me was so pretty. I didn't want to disturb it at all. Also a flap that I have here that you could either journal on or place a 4x6 photo, and again on the back. This I left plain where you could put recipes or photos. And really you could just put recipes in this book if you'd like. This has a side pull-out that I just left plain here that journaling can go on, or you could write a recipe or put recipe cards on. On the back of that, I have a pocket and 2 more of the cutouts. The cutouts on this paper are absolutely gorgeous, and the colors are so very attractive. Down here I have a cutout, and I did glue that to that. I have 2 side flaps here, and both of these have a 4x6 pull out where you can journal and put a recipe or vice versa. And again, you can see how the colors are so pretty on this paper. And I did cover the whole entire booklet with the brown cardstock, which I really thought went with it very well. Also, a photo or recipe card can be layered in here and here. I'll leave this out in case I need it. And on the back here, like I said, a recipe card. And here, I left this open that something could be put under there. Photos or recipe cards, and again, another pull-out. And this paper I thought was so attractive, and it really went very well with this cutout. So I backed it on cardstock and glued it on there. These recipe protectors or photo protectors I had in my stash, so I decided to use those. The recipe cards that I use throughout this album, I found a download on Etsy and purchased it and made my own recipe cards. I thought the rooster went with the paper very well. So you really could put in these folders front and back recipe cards. I did the brown and the cream, and then the cream and the brown. And 2 recipes could be placed here, as you see. That's the first half of the album. The second half of the album, I put a cutout down here that I had layered on the cardstock, so you could put a recipe here and journal here or talk about the recipe, or maybe have a family photo and put something about that photo here. And as you open this up, I believe I have 6. Yes, I have 6 in here. So it really will hold 12 recipe cards front and back. And again, I layered the brown and the cream and used the recipe cards that I printed out on cardstock and then matted. but I really did like that rooster, and I did search quite a few different places for that. I also added in this folio a liquid measures, and a recipe can be placed there. These were things that I had in my stash, these protective sleeves, and a table of measurements, which I think is very important. And again, more recipes could be placed there. And the back of this, there was a cutout in the paper for a list of 12 items, and I kind of thought you could list the recipes that you have here so it would be easier to find them, or use it for whatever you'd like. This is rather large, so once it's opened up, I don't know if I can show you here. I do have a picture on my Facebook page. Let me see if I can go down here. No, that's pretty much it. But anyway, it is rather a large album, and one that I feel would look very nice in a country kitchen, on the shelf, or in a cabinet, just laying out. Even any kitchen decor really could use this album. And like I said, this was one of my favorite paper collections, and I really and truly enjoyed working with it, and want to make a couple more things with this collection. I'll have to purchase a couple more of the paper pads. And I would, at this time, very much like to thank Tamara and Ginger for giving us that tutorial. Their tutorials have been very helpful. Watching tutorials, I love it. I really get inspired, and as you can see, when I'm doing my tutorials here, if I happen to have something that I've done from someone else, I always seem to change it. I just can't totally copy it, either with the paper or their style. I like doing my own thing, but their ideas have been absolutely wonderful. So I would tell you that if you'd like to watch tutorials, please go and watch those. There are quite a few folio tutorials there on YouTube, and they are very, very useful to watch and be able to create from. And again, I would like to thank you for taking the time to spend with me and letting me walk through my recipe folio album. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, please just leave them below, or you can find me on Scrappin', Stampin' and Inkin' by Dardee. It's my Facebook page, and I do try to answer things right away. And again, I would like to say thank you and good night.